Hello, my fellow Americans. I'm Dr. Stephen Clark Bradley, and this is what I think. I would like to say this is what I know. I know that the color revolution that I talked about in my previous videos has now begun. It's a sad thing to be able to say that and to have to say that, but it truly has. As I pointed out in my previous videos, that one of the main things that would take place in the color revolution is that they would begin to cut off Donald Trump and all his supporters from all social media and from the network media and from the talking heads on the internet in MSN, BC, and all those. And it started last week, and it's still going today. We've all heard about what has taken place in the revelation of Hunter Biden's laptop that was discovered, which, by the way, has terrible pornography and has evidence of underage sexual episodes going on and abusing children. This man is a walking devil, just like his father, by the way. But we have seen what's gone on here and how Twitter and others have now taken it upon themselves to decide what you and what I can watch and can learn and study and read. They want to decide what's good for you. They think it's harmful. Well, of course it's harmful, but not for you and not for me. It's harmful for Joe Biden because it's been revealed now that he has absolutely lied about everything. Everything. He is a liar. But I've been saying that for months. He is a liar. I've pointed out about Joe Biden how he's a pervert sexually, how he's harassed and even raped one woman. I've pointed out so many things about Joe Biden, how he is a racist and supported racists throughout his career in the Senate. And now we have to see that he's a barefaced liar, he's an embezzler, and he's also working together with our enemies, China, as we're going to point out in these next few videos. So in these videos, I have so much information to pass on to you. And much of it you may have already heard, but I'm sure a lot of it you have not heard at all. And it just came out, I'm going to read this to you, an official FBI money laundering investigation has been going on about Hunter Biden since December of 2019. Now that sounds great, wonderful. But the sad part about it is the other side of the color revolution that has already commenced is from law and order, law enforcement. Look at this. The FBI has had Hunter Biden's laptop since December of 2019. That really upsets me. It should upset all of us. And yet they said nothing to the Congress, nothing to the White House. And keep in mind, and very profoundly and very importantly, in 2019, December of 2019, what was happening at that time? Not COVID yet. Donald Trump's fake impeachment. They had evidence to show that would exonerate him from everything that they accused him of. We already knew he was innocent. But they had exculpatory evidence on that computer would show the corruption of the Bidens, exactly what he was accused of asking about. And yet nothing was said to him from his own FBI, of which he is their boss. How can that not be said to be corruption? Downright treason. So we see two parts of the color revolution now that are already on their way. One part from social media and the media in general, cutting Donald Trump off. Even they banned his own press secretary, Kelly McEnany. They banned her because she just retweeted a story about Hunter Biden's computer, and they banned her. She's been blocked ever since. The New York Post put out this story, and they haven't been able to tweet or put anything on Facebook since the day they broke it. Isn't that amazing? Right there. That shows what's going on from the Democrat-Socialist Party and all the radical socialists in our country seeking to pull off a color revolution and a coup d'etat against our president, Donald J. Trump. We have got to stand up and say no. So I would like to say that the title of all these videos is that the color revolution has started and they are protecting Joe Biden and they have declared war on President Donald J. Trump and you, if you support him. I certainly support him. I've been really pushing myself hard. I've lost many hours sleep. I just completed a 23-page article from everything that's going on this story. And I think I did it all within 10 hours straight without sleeping, without going to bed at night and reading it. And I've been preparing my notes for these videos. Why am I doing that? Because the nation is on the ledge, is on the edge of losing all of our freedom and our rights and our Constitution and everything on which the founders founded our nation. And I'd like to start off this first video talking about the Constitution. You know, we know that in the First Amendment, it says right here, I'll read this to you, the very First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution written by our founding fathers. And it says, Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religious freedom, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging freedom of speech, or of the press. Now, when you think about that, look at here. When it talks about freedom of speech, it mentions freedom of speech for you and I, rank and file people, rank and file Americans, those who love the country, speak our mind. Nobody should be able to stop us, put us in jail for anything that we might say, right? But it mentions freedom of speech and the press in one sentence, in the same breath. And yet we see today, if you and I, if I hear something about you, and I go and repeat it because I know that will cause you to lose your income, to lose your means of carrying on your life, and cause you irreparable damage, you have the right to take me to court for slander, for so many different laws that I could be charged with because I'm slandering you and causing you irreparable harm based on a falsehood or based on gossip. So you and I, as people walking down the street every day, we can't do that. We can do that if we want. We have the right to talk bad about each other if we want to, right? You can do what you want. You have the right, but you're going to pay a price for it. I would pay a price for it if I did that to you. Before I should go out and slander your name and cause you irreparable damage to your business, to your income, to your family, to your reputation, to your life, I need to think. Before I do that, I need to make sure that I'm willing to pay the price that might come out of that, because you can take me to court and you can cause me more harm than I ever caused you. And that's the right thing. That's the way it should be. All right? We have the right to say what we want. And you have the right to defend yourself in court if need be. But then, even though the founding fathers in the First Amendment said, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, the media, they're mentioned in the same breath, in the same sentence, in the same thought. So what they're really saying here is that you and I have freedom to speak, but with the limitations that if I say it in a way that harms you and it cannot be proven, you can take me to court and, have it rectified and cause me a lot of problems. Yet today we have taken these words and we have separated the right of free speech from the citizens of the United States, rank and file citizens, you and me, and the right of free speech of the media as two different entities, when in reality, they are exactly the same thing. Why is it that we interpret that if you talk bad about me or I talk bad about you, you can find rectitude and you can have it fixed and you can have it judged and you can cause me problem? But when the media wants to, they can take anything they want to say, anything they want to do, if it be false, if whatever it is, against the people that they oppose, and they face no charges, they face no repercussions at all. I believe this is not what the founding fathers intended for the United States of America. The founding fathers wrote the words in the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution of abridging no freedom of speech for you, for me, or for the press. Did they mean that journalists, political pundits, talking heads from the print media, broadcast media, social media, any media, that they have an unrestricted right? I've written down here, let me read it. Do I have it? Because you'll love it. That they have an unrestricted right to say whatever they want, to accuse whomever they want, to accuse someone whenever they choose, without a shred of truth, without any corroboration, without any facts, without a shred of risk, from unknown sources, without a shred of risk, and with no legal repercussions facing them, and they know it. Is that what the Founding Fathers really wanted? That's the way we have interpreted the First Amendment for the media, for the press. But that is not, I believe, what the Founding Fathers intended. Does the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution imply that liars, political hacks, those who falsely claim to be journalists, who can have unfettered right to skew the public's view based on a lie, based on fake news? Can organizations such as this take any issue and just say the way they want? Of course they can. They have the right to do that. But that they will face no repercussions. There are no penalties in store for them. Now, we've made a little bit of progress in this. We know that Mr. Sandman, who was confronted with an American, Indian, Native American, which I am myself, and that he just stood there. You know, he wasn't trying to be smug. He was being respectful and just listened to the drumbeat. And yet the media tore him apart, destroyed this young high school man's life to the point he would have nothing. He took him to court and forced CNN and others to pay him a considerable amount of money. That's a step in the right direction, but almost never, ever done. Now think about it. This is frightening, simply because now, immediately, when this story came out from the New York Post, which is the nation's oldest newspaper and the fourth largest newspaper in the country, started by Alexander Hamilton, one of our founding fathers. And when that story came out, immediately Twitter, Facebook banned it, censored it, blocked it, restricted it. And if you tried to post anything around it, about it, they took your account away or locked you out. Do they have a right to do that? You know, in the United States Congress, we have a law that says that, and it's kind of logical, that if you have a platform such as Twitter or Facebook, all kinds of people are going to post all kinds of things. We've even had terrorists posting on Facebook and things like that. So they've had to have a protection over the years for these platforms so that if someone, posts how to build a bomb or anything like that that could be so dangerous, that the platform itself would not face any penalties. And that law is applicable to them as long as they allow free speech, as long as they don't restrict people that they don't agree with. The moment that Twitter or Facebook or any of the platforms like that, the moment that they start telling you, you can say what you want, but you cannot. You can post something positive for Biden or something negative for Trump, but you cannot post anything positive for Trump or negative for Biden. Then they're no longer a social media platform. They automatically become a publisher. And the law stipulates, as a publisher, that law does not apply to you. By Twitter and Facebook blocking us and not allowing us to post anything related to the story about Hunter Biden, they are in effect becoming a publisher. They are deciding what you can see, what you can read, and what you cannot see, and what you cannot read. They are becoming a judge for you. They're deciding what can be published and what cannot be published. Now they're going to go to Congress. They're going to be subpoenaed. And I can predict to you, and it must happen, that law will be taken away from them. There has to be new stipulations. There has to be an update to the law Because right now, in effect, Google, which is now under antitrust suit by the Department of Justice, and not too soon either, and Facebook and Twitter, so many of them, that they, right now, by doing what they did, they have put themselves in great jeopardy, and they will lose their power. Right now, they are more powerful than the U.S. government. They truly are. They truly are. Google, just in profits, made $3 trillion in profit last year. Now, I don't begrudge anybody making a lot of money. That's wonderful. But you've got to do it in the right way. And the doors have to be open for everybody. So this is what's been happening. You and I, Joe and Jane Public, we don't have that luxury of being able to do what we want, slander people, and say what we want without recourse. We don't have that. We know, and it should be, that if someone slanders us, they need to know that they are going to face a repercussion if I choose to do that. If they have, put something on the internet against me that hinders me from getting a job or causes me to lose my job unfairly and untruly without substantiation, they can face a price. Why not the media too? Why is that not so? Why no penalties or punishment for them? They're not God. That has been misinterpreted by the government, by the people, and freedom of the press does exist. But it doesn't exist any differently than it exists for freedom of speech for you and I, for you and me. Should not be different. Everybody needs to know that whatever we do has a recompense, that there are legal ramifications for the things we do. If I lie about you, if I smear you, if I implicate you in a crime or something, if I condemn you unjustly, if I insinuate even that you're part of something, or an insinuation that casts you in a very negative light that causes you financial, family, or in other ways harm that is irreparable, if I seek to convict you in a crime without evidence to prove the case, or to control you, or to censor you, then I have taken your life in my hands and I'm in control of you. I do not believe this is what we should have before us today related to the First Amendment, relating to the media. They must fit into the same crimes and penalties and repercussions that we have. You say, well, that's going to limit them. Absolutely. We should all be limited by the truth. We shouldn't be allowed to get away with murder by telling the lie. Look what they're doing right now. They don't want to hear a word about what Biden has done. We're going to get into this in the next video very deeply. But they don't want to hear anything. They don't want, and the Democrat Party has told their people, say nothing. Joe Biden has said nothing, which basically shows great guilt on his part. But I don't want to slander him. I'm going to prove it in the next video. But I wanted to start this off by saying this whole situation that we're facing right now causes defamation, causes slander, causes libel. And if you and I do it, we don't get away with it. Why should the press? This has got to change in America. Everything they say needs to be substantiated. Salacious news is exactly that. Salacious, which means without proof, without any way of saying that it's actually happened. The whole thing that Donald Trump went through with the Russian document, the fake the dossier. Even James Comey said before the Congress that it was salacious, and yet he still took it to the FISA court because he knew that he could get away with it. The press knew everything was fake. They participated in it, and they still put it out every day and sought to impeach an innocent president because they knew they could get away with it. Our founding fathers did not intend this for us, and we have got to fix it. Lies, character assassination deserves legal consequences, and we have to be willing to give it legal penalties. This has got to change, or our political life, our social life, and our legal life will die, and we're on our way there right now. Thank you very much, and we're going to carry on in our next videos and get deeply into the Hunter Biden scandal. I thank you for listening. I hope you'll continue. Thank you.